Good evening, everyone. I would like to call the December 14, 2023 regular meeting of the Moraine City Council to order at 6 o'clock. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen? Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Doherty? Here. Ms. Marcus?
Here.
Mr. Burchett?
Here.
Mrs. Witt?
Here.
Mayor Murphy?
Here. Now, if everyone would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council has copies of the November 9, 2023 regular meeting minutes. Does anybody have any changes or corrections? Hearing none, the minutes are approved as submitted. Tonight, we have a special presentation from Joe Braden for presenting the Auditor of State Award for Distinction for 2022.
All right. It's my honor to be here tonight on behalf of Ohio Auditor State Keith Faber. To present the City of Moraine, the Ohio Auditor State Award with distinction. This puts the City of Moraine in a very select group. The Auditor State's Office audits approximately 6,000 entities, and less than 4% of those entities are even eligible for this award. The Auditor State Award with Distinction is presented to local governments and school districts upon completion of financial audit which meets the following criteria of what we call a clean audit report. So I'm going to read through all this criteria so you guys know what it took to make this happen. The entity first must file a financial report with our office, the Auditor State's Office, by the statutory due date without extension on a GAAP basis and prepare an annual comprehensive financial report. The audit report must not contain any findings for recovery, no material citations or material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, any uniform guidance findings, or any question costs. The entity's management letter must contain no comments related to any ethics referrals, any questions, costs less than the threshold for uniform guidance, any lack of timely annual financial report submissions, any bank reconciliation issues, a failure to obtain a timely single audit, any findings for recovery, or any public meetings or public records issues. And the entity shall also have no financial or any other type of concerns. This award represents the hard work of all your city employees here. Represents, and the financial staff also, that make an effort each day to attain county excellence. I want to recognize the council members, mayor, city manager, everybody that has done an outstanding job watching over every dollar here at the City of Moraine. But I specifically would like to recognize Don. Would you like to step up here for a second? I'd like to recognize your finance director for his leadership, his professionalism, and his exceptional commitment to fiscal integrity. Congratulations, Don. On behalf, sure can. On behalf of Ohio Auditor State Keith Faber, you want us to turn around?
That's fine.
I would like to present the Ohio Auditor State Award with distinction. Congratulations.
Way to go, Don.
Great job. Great job. It takes all of you guys, so congratulations, everyone. Congratulations.
He does the work.
Yes, he does.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
More than welcome. Congratulations. What a great day to present the budget, too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Don. Good work.
Okay, now we will go into reports. Finance Committee, anything to report?
No report, thank you.
Finance Director, anything to report?
I'd just like to add that, I'd like to especially thank my staff for this award. Without their daily efforts and trying to, stay on top of things every day, we have so many transactions that go on throughout a year that if we're not on it every day, we can, make more mistakes or make bigger mistakes. So they're really the key to us being able to obtain this award. And, but other than that, you have my November report in your packets. And in addition to that, the city manager and myself, we did want to do a quick presentation of the 2024 annual budget here. So
Okay.
I'm going to step up to the microphone up there.
We know that the 2024 annual budget is up for consideration at tonight's agenda, so we wanted to kind of give a very brief, high-level oversight, highlight some of the areas of the proposed budget. And the finance director and I both wanted to say thank you to all of you on council and all of our staff who worked hard to get this 2024 budget together. It takes months. It takes a lot of number crunching from Don, and obviously it takes a lot of support from council to put your faith and trust in us in putting the budget together and planning for, what expenses we're going to take on for the year and the projects that we're wanting to support to better the community for our residents and our businesses. With that, on the first slide, we kind of have some highlights, and I'll touch on those. We have, in the proposed capital and operational highlights, we have $3.8 million in upgrades on city buildings. More specifically, this includes major efficiency, safety, and security measures that we're going to take here at the administrative building. It also includes roof replacement at the Payne Rec Center, the Gebhardt Civic Center, and our building maintenance shop. And it also includes new ADA door replacement at all of our rec facilities. Next, we've got $2.6 million pledged for street infrastructure. As you know, a significant portion of that goes towards neighborhood paving each year. But more specifically, it's $1.2 million for sidewalk, curb, asphalt, and concrete paving throughout the city. It is also $400,000 has been set aside for bike path resurfacing and lot resurfacing. And then we have $500,000 in Dorothy Lane improvements. This includes concrete replacement and a new signal change at Springboro Pike and Dorothy Lane. Next, we have $1.1 million in vehicles and equipment. This includes emergency service marked vehicles and heavy equipment replacement for the street department, like dump trucks and ladder trucks, dump trucks and the ladder truck. And then next, we have $1.1 million, or $800,000, on economic development initiatives. This is essentially business retention and expansion opportunities that get presented to us throughout the year. And it's also a way for matching dollars for us to have those readily available to partner with Montgomery County and Jobs Ohio on prospects that may come our way over the year. Next, we have $700,000. This is for waste collection and street lights for the residents. This essentially allows us to continue to pay for all single-family residential collection and street lights throughout our entire city. And then we have $300,000 set aside for parks programming. And then also, you will recall that of that amount, $100,000 has been set aside for a proposed parks master plan that will really kind of show us and guide us on where we should be making our investments in the future for all of our recreational activities. So with that, I'll hand over the next slides to Don.
All right, thank you. We're just going to do a quick overview of our total revenue. So total revenue estimated for next year is $49.5 million. Of that, 52.7% is income taxes. So we rely heavily on our income tax. lined up right with that. Property and hotel tax is just 2.4%. So just gives everyone a good window on, and, how much we, where our priorities are for revenue. And then miscellaneous, just some of the main parts of that category of revenue, 1.4 million in interest. We look to continue that for the next year or two with our current investments and the current interest rates that we are carrying on those investments. They will eventually mature, and as we look out in the next couple of years, we expect the federal funds rate to come down starting next year. But right now, we have a very strong portfolio, investment portfolio. And then we do have health insurance transfers that make up part of the revenue, and garage transfers as well. So our expenses for all funds, we are looking at a $52.8 million budget this year. That is what is on the agenda for tonight for the legislation. That is the total number there. Of that, 33% is going towards personnel. That is wages and benefits. Of the $52.8 million, 26% is fund transfers. So we do not spend that if we do not need to. There are funds that rely on the general fund to keep a positive fund balance, and we don't do transfers if the fund balances are healthy enough at that time. So another thing I want to point out, projects of the $52.8 million, we're looking at 22% of that amount is going towards projects. For a city our size, that is a very strong, something we should be very proud about of how much we're able to put back into the community. Just some of the things that Mike mentioned, just some of the important projects that we're doing, are things that will really help our community and in our tax base as well. So general fund revenue, we are looking at total general fund revenue of $29.1 million. For our city, the general fund is very, very, very crucial for us. That is our main operating fund. And like I said, with some of the transfers there, the general fund supports a number of other funds in our budget. So it's very, very important to us. Of that, $29 million, 26 is planned for income tax collection. And then just some smaller amounts for some other areas. For the income tax collection, we're looking at a 9% increase over current year collections. Part of that is high growth in the last few years, and as well as increased withholdings and net profit collections that we've had this year. We are also looking at some expanded employment numbers for certain businesses here that we've put some economic development dollars towards the last few years. We're looking to get some of that back here starting next year. So miscellaneous receipts, 1.5 million. Again, investment interest is a large number of that, at 1.3 million for the general fund. 2024 expenses for the general fund, we're looking at 31.6 million. That is where, so the general fund is slightly, the expenses are slightly more than the revenues. So, but we do have some strong fund balances to be able to support. With that, like we've discussed in our budget work sessions, that change there is really going towards projects and investing in the community. So for the general fund, 58% goes towards police and fire, and the next largest category, or the largest category, is our fund transfers. So the general fund supports most of our operating departments, and then a couple of our operating departments are also funded through other operating funds in the city. So expenses by program. So program, this is encompassing operating expenses as well as capital projects as well. So public safety, police and fire, we add together their operating as well as their capital requests. We're looking at $12.4 million. For general government, $6 million. Public Works, $4.4 million. That's our street department as well as our infrastructure projects that we are planning for next year. Parks and Recreation, $1.9 million. Debt service, $1.1 million. And then waste collection and street lighting, $400,000 and $300,000. And I'll pass it back over to Mike.
There are several objectives that we use to help guide us when we make decisions on the budget, and they're in front of you. I'll go ahead and read them out, but this is really what guides council, guides staff, and Don and I when we make our decisions to collectively get the budget together to present in front of you. Those are maintain key programs and services. I have a couple new hires in the 24 budget. However, these are essential as we're taking on capital projects, many of our facilities. We're hiring within building maintenance, and then obviously with the increased volume in police and some of those responsibilities, we're looking to add a sergeant as well. Next is the complete projects in connection with the CIP. That's the capital improvement plan, which kind of identifies where we see our projects, when we need to address them over a 5-year period. And our current comprehensive plan, that as we know, that update is underway. We expect that to be completed by the end of the first quarter of 2024. And that'll really help kind of, set the path forward and where we want to put emphasis and where we want to grow. And it's going to get us on a good path. Our other comp plan has been outdated for a few years, so I think all of us in this room are excited to have that process almost wrapped up and and be up to date. Next is maintain low debt load and high credit rating, and we're doing very well at Moody's now, and it's our intent to continue down that path. Next is promote diversified economic development. I think that over the last 10 years, we've done a really good job of that in trying to make sure that, a lot of our businesses weren't associated in the same industry. So where if that industry had an impact on the national level, that it would hurt us significantly. So we've diversified where we have IT, we have medical, we have automotive, and we have transportation. I think that's really helped us in our growth and some of the new dollars that the finance director had just touched on. We have invest in the community through public facilities, infrastructure, and service equipment. I would say 2024 is one of our biggest years in doing that. So, and we know that we're getting to a point that we cannot continue to patch some of the problems and issues that we've had in some of our older facilities. So we really appreciate your support in that. And then last is control expenses and maximize revenue collections and outside funding. And we're doing a great job at that. We just went to a ribbon cutting yesterday with a new business coming into town, and it will be our goal moving forward to attend a few more of those and continue to have successes. So that's all we have, unless you have any specific questions for Don and I.
Good job. Yeah, I think you guys have done a great job.
Thank you.
We'll go back to reports. Committee of the Whole, anything to report?
Yes, our last meeting was November 9th. Items from that meeting are on tonight's agenda, and we will have another meeting following this one. Thank you.
City Manager, anything to report?
I have nothing beyond the written report unless there are any questions by council.
Law Director, anything to report?
Thank you, Mayor. I have 3 requests this evening. That's to add 3 pieces of legislation to this evening's agenda. The first will be a request to add Resolution 7992-23, which authorizes the city to enter into a Public Works mutual aid agreement with surrounding cities. And if council wishes to add that to the agenda, I would just need a motion and vote.
I'll make a motion that we add it to the agenda.
Okay, you've heard. We have roll call?
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yeah.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. The second item would be Resolution 7993-23, which is a resolution imposing an immediate moratorium on the issuing and processing of permits, allowing retail dispensaries, cultivators, or processors of adult use marijuana within the city of Moraine. Again, I would just need a motion and vote.
I'll make a motion to add that to the agenda.
You've heard the motion. Any questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. The last item is Resolution 7994-23, which authorizes the city manager to enter into an agreement with Block Group for the purchase and installation of license plate detection equipment for use by the police department.
I'll make a motion that we add 7994-23 to the agenda per the law director.
You've heard the motion. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes. Clerk of the council, anything to report?
Nothing beyond my written report. Thank you.
Okay, and I have Mayor's Court report for the month of November 2023. For the month of November 2023, the gross revenues for Mayor's Court was $25,403. After various expenses and disbursements, a total of $19,868 was deposited into the general fund. And since we have no guest speakers, we will now go into business.
Ordinance 2150-23, an ordinance to amend Moraine Codified Ordinance Section 509.03 entitled Disorderly Conduct Intoxication.
This ordinance would modify MCO Section 509.03, which concerns disorderly conduct, intoxication, and also amends the potential charges. Motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Is there any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Ordinance 2151-23, an ordinance amending the city income tax code at Chapter 185 of the Moraine Codified Ordinances to adopt revisions mandated by Ohio House Bill 33 and declaring an emergency.
This ordinance would modify MCO Chapter 185 concerning the city income tax code in order to adopt made to the Ohio Revised Code through Ohio House Bill 33. Since this is an emergency resolution, I make a motion that we suspend the rules and allow the second reading and final adoption at this meeting. Motion to approve.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Ordinance 2151-23, an ordinance amending the city income tax code at Chapter 185 of the Moraine Codified Ordinances to adopt revisions mandated by Ohio House Bill 33 and declaring an emergency.
Motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Ordinance 2152-23, an ordinance to make supplemental appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Moraine, state of Ohio, for the period January 1, 2023 to December 31st, 2023, and declaring an emergency.
This ordinance allows for the supplemental appropriations for the end-of-the-year budget adjustments in various fund departments. This is an emergency, and I move to suspend the rules to allow the second reading and final adoption of this ordinance at the meeting it was introduced. Motion to approve.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Ordinance 2152-23, an ordinance to make supplemental appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Moraine, state of Ohio, for the period January 1, 2023 to December 31st, 2023, and declaring an emergency.
Motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Is there any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Ms. Marcus,
yes,
Mr. Darty,
Yes.
Mrs. Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Ordinance 2153-23, an ordinance to make a permanent appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Moraine, State of Ohio for the period January 1, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, and declaring an emergency.
This ordinance makes permanent appropriations and establishes the city's expense budget for 2024. The budget and capital program was reviewed by council and shows our commitment to providing our residents and businesses with a broad range of services and investments in our community. I move to suspend the rules to allow for the second reading and final adoption at the meeting in which it was introduced. Motion to approve.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
yes,
Mr. Darty?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
yes,
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Ordinance 2153-23, an ordinance to make permanent appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Moraine, State of Ohio for the period January 1, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, and declaring an emergency.
Motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Is there any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
yes,
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Darty?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
yes,
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Resolution 7988-23, a resolution accepting the proposal of and authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with RDA Group Architects to perform professional architectural and related services for the municipal building renovation project.
This resolution approves the proposal of RDA Group Architects for the city building renovation design work. This is a budgeted item paid from the capital improvement fund. I'll make a motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Is there any questions or comment? Roll call, please.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
yes,
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mr. Darty?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
yes,
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Resolution 7989-23, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with LJB Incorporated to provide professional services for preparation of the project development process for resurfacing and curb replacement for the Mott Kettering Boulevard Improvements Project, PID number 116879.
This resolution approves an agreement with LBJ Incorporated for design work related to the Mott Kettering Boulevard Improvement Project. Costs for this will be paid from the Capital Improvement Fund. Motion to approve?
You've heard the motion. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Darty?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
yes,
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
yes,
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Resolution 7990-23, a resolution declaring the items listed on the attached 2023 list to be surplus and no longer needed for municipal purposes and authorizing the city manager to dispose of such items through GovDeals auction or donation to a nonprofit organization or through a trade-in program.
this resolution declares these listed items are deemed no longer usable by the city and will be disposed of through auction, donation, or trade-in program. Motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes,
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
yes,
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Darty?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Resolution 7991-23, a resolution approving out-of-county conferences and seminars for council members of the City of Moraine to attend during the year 2024.
This allows out-of-county travel for council members through the year 2024. This is a requirement for City Charter Section 3.6. Motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
yes,
Mr. Darty?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
yes,
Mayor Murphy.
Yes.
Resolution 7992-23, a resolution authorizing the city to enter into a public works mutual aid agreement with surrounding jurisdictions.
This resolution approves a public works mutual aid agreement with surrounding jurisdictions to provide for mutual aid, assistance, labor, and equipment in the event of non-emergency and emergency situations. Motion to approve.
Can I ask, Martina, why was this brought up?
I believe, if I remember correctly, Mike, was this brought up at one of the managers' meetings?
This was brought up at one of the city manager roundtable meetings, as many of us were helping out during the past tornado that hit our region. And so we wanted to formalize it, and Jay with MBCC took it upon himself to work with all the jurisdictions. So almost all the jurisdictions in the Dayton region are going to be part of this mutual aid. It does not commit us to anything financially, commits us to the availability of either our machinery and equipment or our workers to be able to go and provide in those types of situations.
But just in that type, not if
Well, it's, for example, Mayor, we currently, I said ladder truck, it was bucket truck is what I meant to say earlier. So the bucket truck, we have borrowed that from West Carrollton. There are other things that we have borrowed. This just formalizes it versus it being such an informal process is all it's doing. Many of these jurisdictions have currently been using other equipment or things that we don't have or vice versa. And all of us felt that it would be better if we actually had a formal document for the trading that
I
we've
just
been
worry
doing.
because, we have Dayton right behind us. And Dayton doesn't do,
It does, it does not require us to fill in a need. If there's a piece of equipment and we borrowed from them, then yes, but this in no way says that we have to go and address an issue that the city of Dayton or any other jurisdiction is choosing not to address.
okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what, with that
Concerns you.
street behind my neighborhood.
Yep.
We can't even get them to come out when the noise level is so great in the summer that you can't open your windows and they won't do anything. We can't, of course, call Moraine Police, we can't. But we can give them aid, and it just seems like Dayton
So this
doesn't.
is more
Okay.
public works than it is emergency
Okay.
services. This is what it's designed for.
Okay,
So it's not the mutual aid. Those agreements have been in place for years for police and fire responses.
right, well,
Yeah.
that I knew.
Yeah.
But-
So, but this will, again, we would not go and address a need that they were not specifically or purposefully not addressing.
Okay,
It's more in those moments when, hey, it's easier to borrow that piece of equipment than go purchase it because we only need it for a day, and/or primarily where this was derived from was those disaster type situations.
well, that's.
Where all
fine.
of us, our street crew and everybody was
Right.
helping out Trotwood and Harrison Township. And so, again, we just wanted to get it on paper.
I just wondered all of a sudden why. I
Sure.
didn't
It's
hear anything.
actually, I think the first time I reached out to Chris or Martina was several months ago, but this has been in the works for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, you've heard the motion. Is there any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
yes,
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Resolution 7993-23, a resolution imposing an immediate moratorium on the issuing and processing of permits allowing retail dispensaries, cultivators, or processors of adult-use marijuana within the city of Moraine, Ohio.
This resolution imposes a moratorium concerning permits for cultivators, processors, or retail dispensaries of adult-use marijuana within the city. This allows the city time to make informed decisions regarding regulations that may be needed. Motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
yes,
Mrs. Witt?
Yes,
Mr.
absolutely.
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Resolution 7994-23, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a 5-year agreement with Flock Group Incorporated for purchase and installation of license plate detection equipment at a cost not to exceed $137,500 or $27,500 per year.
This resolution approves the 5-year agreement with Flock Group, Inc. for license plate detection equipment for use by the police department. This would be a budgeted item with a total cost not exceeding $137,500 for a 5-year period. I'll make a motion to approve.
You've heard the motion. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
yes,
Mr. Burchett?
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty?
Yes.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy.
Yes. Okay, we have no persons appearing before council, so we'll go into any other business. Fire Department, anything to report?
Nothing to report, ma'am.
Police Department, anything to report?
No report, Mayor. Thank you.
Building and Maintenance Department, anything to report?
No report, ma'am, thank you.
Street Department, anything to report?
No report, ma'am, thank you.
City Planner, anything to report?
Nothing to report this time, ma'am. Thank you.
Parks and Recreation Director, anything to report?
You know I do. The Christmas tree lighting was not this Friday, the Friday before. I want to thank everybody for attending. It was really good. The Christmas tree looks beautiful out there, so kudos to the city of Rain for that. And then this past weekend was a Christmas Smiles pickup. Christmas Smiles was kind of a challenge this year, but we made it work. All the staff contributed a lot of hours to making sure these kids had a really good Christmas. And to all the adopters, everybody that donated, thank you so much. This program doesn't work without you. So, and then I also wanted to congratulate Don and the finance team for today. That's it.
Okay, City Manager, anything further to report?
No, I would just like to welcome Nick on board. I think he's made his way around and met everybody over the last 2 weeks. But we're happy to have him, and Nick and I have been working close on some projects already. I think we have a scheduled BZA meeting and Planning Commission already, so Nick came on at the perfect time. So, because we hadn't had that activity in a little while. So again, Nick, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you. That's all that I have.
Law Director, anything further to report?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Finance Director, anything further to report?
Nothing further, thank you.
Clerk of Council, anything further to report?
I have nothing, thank you.
Miss Allen, anything to report?
Yes, I'd like to welcome Nick Reese as a new city planner. And also, I want to thank Brent for the wonderful Christmas decorations. I received lots of comments. They say it's beautiful. And I also want to congratulate Don on the award for the distinction.
Ms. Marcus, anything to report?
I have nothing to add to that. I think it was all said.
Ms. Witt, anything to report?
I'm going to be redundant.
I know
Of
you are.
course. I would like to thank Brent and the street department for the Christmas decorations. And whoever purchased the cookies, that was a touch of genius. They were so pretty, and we appreciate that. And I'd like to thank Amy for tonight. And I'd like to welcome Nick to our city. And I would like to thank all the departments at the end of the year. You've done a great job. I don't know, we couldn't operate, council could not look good without all of you making us look that way. So we do appreciate you. I attended the Electropack open house yesterday. It was really nice. They put out a really nice spread for us, and going to be a great asset to the city. Congratulations, Dawn, and I'm done. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Mr. Miller, anything to report?
A lot of repeating. I wanted to congratulate Don and your whole finance team, Don, for a great job, and congratulations on the award. And also, good job, Mike and Don, on the budget presentation.
Yeah.
I think that was really a nice addition and very informative for everyone. Also attended the Electric Pack ribbon cutting, and I wanted to also kudos for them for welcome them to the city and investing in our city. Also, I wanted to mention the solar radar speed sign on Main Street. Street Park put up, thank you. I've had at least a dozen neighbors tell me, hey, it's good to see it there, it's working. And that was a nice asset, plus the safety crossing, pedestrian ride on top of the bridge. I know we don't get as many bikers and walkers this time of year, but that's a nice safety asset as well to put up there. We needed that. Also, I think the municipal building lights look really great, all the Christmas lights out there. And welcome, Nick, as the new city planner. Nice meeting you tonight. And I want to wish everyone, staff and council and the residents, happy holidays. Thank you.
Mr. Doherty, anything to report?
Some of the same stuff.
I
Just
know.
congratulations, Don. Appreciate the budget presentation from Mike and from Don. Again, welcome, Nick. Pleasure to have you here. Again, I attended the Christmas lighting, and that was a really good time. Appreciate it, Brent, and thank you to the street department for helping out with the lights on that. And yeah, the electric pack, that went really well. It's exciting to have a new business like that in the city.
Mr. Burchett, anything to report?
Yes, December 7th, I attended the monthly meeting of the MVRPC. I'd like to congratulate Don on award and thank all the departments and staff, everybody in the city for all the hard work they've done this year. And hi to Nick, glad to have you here. And thanks, Amy, for things, all the year, the stuff that you've done. And wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Okay, I would like to thank Dawn for you and your staff and all the hard work you do all year for us. You do make us look good in that. Welcome, Nick. And sorry I was not here for the tree lighting. Last night I finally was out at night and got to see the lights. Took a while, but hey, they really look good out there. I was really proud to see them, and we really look good. Our city building really looks good. I'd like to also say I was at Electric Pack yesterday. It's a really nice new business here in the city. I think we're going to do well with them, and hopefully they're going to expand. They talked, hopefully, that soon that they would expand. I'd like to wish the citizens of Moraine a happy Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I would like for everyone to stay safe during the holidays this year. And all the staff, happy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I would also like to thank the Miami Valley Communications Council for broadcasting this meeting live, as well as future rebroadcasts. This regular council meeting is adjourned at 6:42.